Hello and welcome if you are new to this channel. My name is Maureen and here we are talking about mindset and also mind and body connection. So the subject of today is escapism. If you prefer the audio version, I have the podcast version that I'm going to put in the link below. First of all, I would like to say how this idea came up to me. So I was in the car and on the radio came the song Escapism by Ray. And after listening to it probably 1,000 times, I decided that it might be a good idea to address the subject of escapism here on this channel and also on my podcast. So here we go. In this video, we'll see how, what's the definition of escapism, how it can impact your life, and most importantly, how to move forward from that. So let's start with a little definition of escapism. So escapism is one of the coping mechanisms that we can use, which is basically using a distraction to avoid addressing negative feelings and negative emotions. So escapism can be triggered when someone tells you something or a situation happens that is triggering an old trauma that you had. And so following that trauma and that trigger, you will start doing certain activities or will start taking certain substances or food to help you avoid addressing those negative emotions and really feeling it. That's what it's about. Like, it's just avoiding the feeling, the negative emotion, by distracting yourself or something else. So if I were to give an example, let's say that when you were little, in the classroom, someone told you that they didn't want to play with you because you are ugly. Growing up, you're in a relationship with someone, with a partner, and they break up with you and tell you you are not pretty enough. I don't want to be with you anymore. So this is the triggering point that is going to trigger you, and you will remember that time where you were a child and the other child told you that they didn't want to play with you because you were not pretty enough. So following this, you are triggered, but at the moment, these emotions are just too much to handle and you don't want to feel it. So what are you going to do? You can either take drugs or alcohol. You can take some food. So sorry, I'm trying to find my word. Binge eating, I want to say binge watching, but binge eating, it can be overworking. It can be, partying too much. So doing too much of a certain activity to the point that it can actually be toxic for you, because you are doing this activity not because you enjoy doing it, not because you really want to do it, going with that positive mindset into play, but more going with that negative mindset and just the feeling of trying to avoid it. So when you're trying to avoid those feelings, this can lead to, on the long term, several addictions, especially when if you're taking drugs and alcohol. Work can also be very detrimental when we overwork and not regard, when we don't rest, when we are just not fully present in our personal life. This can lead to a lot of stress and, show up as physical signs as well within your body when you are not taking that rest into account and always putting your body through a lot of the stress response. So why are we coping through distraction? It's because when you are distracted by those emotions, you create an alternate self. So it's going to be a part of you, another personality if you want, that is going to show up as everything that you want. So by fulfilling all of the emotions that you don't want to feel. So let's say that if we take back our example where someone breaking up with you and tells you you're not pretty enough, then let's say one of the escapism mechanism that you can put in place is drink a lot of alcohol, take drugs, then go partying and trying to find another person who is going to tell you that you are pretty, who is going to provide this temporary love that you're looking for, this temporary attention that you are looking for to fill that void. So instead of feeling the feeling of maybe sadness and expressing sadness while being sober, you are expressing yourself through, oh, I am actually pretty. I know I can attract men in my life, or women, a partner in my life, because I know I'm pretty. But you're gonna look for that external validation to provide it to you, to fill the void that you are trying to avoid. So I know it can be a little bit complicated maybe at first to understand, but it's just basically remembering that when you are overworking, when you are taking substances or binge eating, you're really trying to fill a void and creating that other self that is going to seem as successful, that is going to seem loved and in need of attention. In the case of binge eating, it's a little bit different because you're literally eating your emotions. So it depends on the case and it depends on the people, right? Not everyone will have the same experience, but it is a very big phenomenon that at least someone has lived once in their life. So now how can we cope with this feeling? So the first step is awareness, because a lot of the times when people are in this cycle, this circle, they're not really aware of what's going on, and it's just like, oh, I'm just having fun, or I'm just doing this, it's not really a big deal. And very often the awareness is, not here. So first of all is awareness. And I do want to say that ever, if you know someone who's in that situation, or if you are yourself in that situation, it's very important not to judge the person or to judge yourself, because you might not be aware of it, they might not be aware of it, and it's just really a coping mechanism. So it's very important to understand that beyond the toxic behaviors that might be going on for the person, they might not be aware of it, and it's very subconscious. So it's important to treat yourself or the person very gently and just let them have that moment where they are going to have that awareness from themselves of maybe, okay, this might not be the best for me and I need help. I need to, work this out. So bring this awareness in your body and really try to feel, okay, what am I avoiding something by doing this behavior? And again, don't bring any judgment, just be like a witness in this situation. So how do I feel in my body? Do I feel this tension somewhere specifically? Do I feel a knot? Do I feel like a stabbing pain or like little butterflies? How does it feel in my body, this emotion? So sometimes it's just very important to just sit with this emotion. And it's gonna be uncomfortable because it's a negative emotion, right? But it's just sitting with it will actually be like, okay, yeah, it exists. Because very often the emotion needs to be acknowledged. Okay, sometimes it's enough. Sometimes you just feel the emotion and it kind of goes away. But if it's something that is very internalized and has a lot of trauma behind it, then there are other steps to help this. But the first one is bringing this awareness within your body, within your mind, like, oh, maybe there's something going on that is bigger than what I'm thinking. The second step is externalize. So externalizing is about just releasing that emotion. This can be any type of activity that you like doing, where you can express yourself. So it can be dancing, it can be painting if you like to paint, it can be singing, shouting, or doing breathwork, for example, or just simply journaling. I personally love to journal because other ideas tend to come up as long as I keep writing. So it's just really find a way of expressing yourself, expressing that emotion, and just letting it out a little bit will really, really help you. And you can do that on your own, but if you feel like you need extra help, just reach out maybe to a therapist, to, let's say, I'm saying breathwork practitioner, but it can be any type of kind of healing space that you feel called to. And the third step is change of perspective. So instead of thinking, oh, this is so negative, this thing that happened to me was so bad, it's just thinking, yeah, it was bad, but it helped me to be where I am today, and it helps me to learn. I personally believe that everything is a lesson, even the atrocious things that can happen in this world. They're really bad, but it can be a very, very big lesson for the person, and there's always a lesson somewhere. So trying to find that lesson for you so that you don't reproduce the same thing, and that you can heal from that thing and move on in your life. So trying to change that perspective and trying to bring more positivity in your life. It can be like affirmations that you say every day, just trying to reframe your thoughts is a big thing, because usually we tend to go towards the negative in our brain. So it's just very important to put that little bit of an effort in and just try to reframe your thoughts into positive ones. It can be, you know, something that you like doing, again, like dance, working out, something that is healthy for you and that brings you a lot of joy and positivity, that is going to take you away from the destructive and toxic activity or behavior that you were having. And yeah, just trying to find what works for you. You know, you can adapt everything that I'm saying to your own habits, your own like the things that you like doing. So I'm trying to keep this video short, and again, if you prefer to listen to a longer version and an older version wherever you are, I have a podcast on the an episode on my podcast, and it's going to be in the description. If you have any comments, anything you've experienced with escapism or your opinion, please let me know. I accept also constructive opinions, so let me know in the comments, and don't hesitate to put a thumbs up if you liked it, and to subscribe to this channel so I know that you're interested and I can get a lot of more content out there. So anyway, that was it for today. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I will see you soon. Bye.